Welcome to Narrow Ground Entertainment. I'm Steve the Unimpressed. This is episode... How many episodes is this? What day is it? This is episode 6 of COVID Besieged. I'm starting to lose track now. I actually had to pause the game and go check the folder of completed videos to see how many videos I had completed in this series. I suppose that's a good problem to have. When God gives you lemons, you make the best of it. In yesterday's episode, I failed to gather all the supplies I needed to make a workbench. Mainly, I was missing mechanical parts. So what I'm going to do today is go run around in the city over here and try to collect the parts that I need with my wrenches. But first, I'm going to deposit a few things back in the base. Recalling my difficulties with the high number of cougars out here in previous episodes, I did bring all 3 blunderbusses with me, as well as the tactical assault rifle that I got in the last episode. Hopefully, if I run into any of them, I will actually be able to win those fights this time. Let's take you out. The cars lying around the world are one of the things you can break down with the wrench, and I'm going to break down this one. The cars go through 3 stages of decomposition as you break them down, and the first 2 are loot containers, so loot will respawn in those. And that sometimes makes me a little bit loath to take these apart, but you also get some of the best scavenged stuff from taking apart cars as opposed to any of the other appliances or mechanical items that you can take apart. So, often I just bite my lip and do it because the loot that spawns in them isn't usually that spectacular anyway. Although sometimes you do get tools, iron or steel tools I have found in cars occasionally. And those are, of course, very valuable. I've been working with stone tools for this entire series so far, and I'm hoping to get an upgrade to iron relatively soon. To deal with some guests. Alright, quite a bit of this loot in my inventory came from breaking down that car. Everything from the iron down to the spring, except the bone knife, because I already had that, was loot from breaking down that car. We've got scrap iron, electrical parts, gasoline, mechanical parts, 6 of those, so I only need to take apart maybe 3 more cars to get the number that I need. A brass radiator, scrap polymers, short iron pipes, and the cars are one of the only places I know that you can get the spring item without buying it from a trader. I wonder if they put... No, they didn't. Okay. I wondered if they put the crafting recipe for the spring back in, because in one of the previous versions, prior to Alpha 18, I think, you could actually craft springs. But they took that out for Alpha 18 and they have not added it back. So springs you have to find or buy, which makes them quite valuable, although the trader does stock them relatively frequently later in the game and stocks them in fairly large quantities, like 30 or 40 at a time. Brass radiators are one of the largest single sources of brass you can find, so those are worth keeping around. There's another car over here, so I'm going to go for that one now. Take the zombie out on the way. Why was that one not loaded? quick reminder to make sure all of your muzzle loaders are loaded if you're going to rotate through them like that. These junkyard point of interests are good places to find mechanical items to break down. This one even has 2 cars in it, and it's not even one of the bigger junkyards. But some of them also have zombie dogs lurking. This one at least has a zombie over here. So you want to be careful to clear them out before you start breaking down items and making noise. Alright, looks like we're clear. These little pieces of girder, those are just scrap iron out in the world. So, harvest those whenever you find them, especially as you get better tools. Once you have like an iron pickaxe, those break apart in 1 or 2 strikes, and once you get the best pickaxe, the steel pickaxe, it is just 1. See, this is what I mean about finding tools in cars. I just opened that one and found a stone shovel. Unfortunately, it's only stone, and it's only as good as the one I already had, so I'm not going to carry it around with me. I'm just going to scrap it. And then, I'm going to scrap the whole car. Okay, from that car, I also got some leather, probably from leather seating, the engine, the headlight, and some oil. Engines and headlights are both going to be very valuable later on in the game. The engines will allow you to build the vehicles that are available to drive around, and some of the more useful base appliances, like the concrete mixer, things later in the game that I probably will not get to in this series. However, I'm going to collect the supplies and keep them around just in case I do. I have quite a few mechanical parts. In fact, after I break down this car that's kind of in front of me here, I will probably be able to go back and get to work on my goals for the day. Maybe not. That one only gave me 1 mechanical part. It is randomized. And with that level up, I now have the skill point I need to buy the perk to make a rifle. Up here on top of this dumpster, I found a safe. So I'm going to pick that. There are sometimes things on top of the dumpsters that are highly useful, so I always try to make sure I check on top of those. One of the junkyards, a large one with a building inside it, is a point of interest that I specifically look for in the first couple of days of the game if I don't find a cooking pot, because several of the dumpsters on there have cooking pots on them. So that's always a good one to look for. Let's see what's in here. More rifle ammo and an ergonomic grip mod, which you can put into tools. Or it might have changed slightly. I used to put it into tools. Yeah, okay, it still does what I remember it doing. Decreases melee stamina usage by 10%. So if I put this into, say, my shovel or my stone axe, this will reduce the amount of stamina that's used when I strike with it. Means you can keep mining for longer before your stamina runs out and you have to stop for a moment and catch your breath. And I just found some skill books in one of those piles of garbage. Automatic Weapons Handbook Volume 4. Which is actually very handy. That's the one that teaches you how to craft drum magazines, which double the ammunition capacity of whatever weapon you add them to. And it just so happens that I do have an automatic weapon. I'll have to check when we get back to base what the recipe for that is in this version, and see if I can make one. Found another desk safe in the junkyard next door, which had a very similar layout, but not quite the same. Had only 1 car, but that one gave me enough mechanical parts to complete the workbench. So after I finish looting this place, it's back to the base to get to work on that. And I didn't even see any cougars. I probably shouldn't have said that. Another blunderbuss and some more blunderbuss ammo. That's okay. I'll load this one too. That went well. I'm back at base. I dealt with a small herd of zombies that was shambling past, and I finally have all the things that I need to create the workbench. So I'm going to go ahead and get that started. And then I'm going to put the rest of this stuff away. Now it's going to take quite a bit for that workbench to finish. So while that is cooking, so to speak, I am going to run over to the barn and take care of one other piece of business that I need to accomplish yet, which is figuring out exactly how I'm going to turn this thing into a hideaway for the 7th Day Horde. Oh, while I'm here, I might as well investigate that silo that I never got back to. Ultimately, what I will probably be doing to turn this place into someplace I can use as a base to survive the zombie horde is blocking off access to the upper levels. So what will happen on the horde day is that a whole bunch of zombies will spawn that automatically know where you are. You can't really prevent that. They will run to wherever you are and try to kill you. But they can only jump so high, which is why I tend to like being up in the air for the first several hordes. They tend to just mill around below you, destroying terrain and not being able to really get to where you are. The barn is not exactly an ideal building, but it will serve for the time being. I don't intend to come here repeatedly for this, especially because of the risk of that happening, although that will be reduced after I fill in more of this floor with wood frame blocks. And that is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to fill in this top level with wood frame blocks, and when it's getting close to evening on the 7th day, I will climb up that ladder, break it behind me, and try not to fall down while the zombies are spawning. They will come down here, mill around, break their way through the walls, and anytime I see one, I will try to kill it. And we'll see how well that plan works out. I'm going to go ahead and try to get a little bit of a start on filling in the floor right now. I will have to break away these little trim pieces on this elevator. I think those are iron. Yeah, those are made of iron and are going to take a little while to break down. Taking them out might also disrupt the structural stability of the elevator and make it fall. But honestly, I think I'm okay with that. If that's going to happen, I want it to happen now, not when I'm fighting zombies. I may leave that little chore until tomorrow, so I might be able to make myself an iron pickaxe tonight. And I can hear some zombies breaking into the lower levels already. Another thing that I will want to do before the Seventh Day Horde shows up and starts destroying everything down here is break down the things that are valuable to me, like this sedan. And actually a lot of the things in this room I will take apart with the wrench because I want to get the resources from them. If zombies break it, you don't get anything from it. So if there's something valuable in a place that you're planning to hang out to survive the Seventh Day Horde, break it down before they do. That didn't reload all the way, did it? Nope. Alright, now let's see if we can get up to this thing. This is almost certainly going to break. Yep. And the one on the other side will too. But I can build my own little bridge right there. It looks like there is a container of valuable loot hidden in the hay here. Ammunition. Can always do with a little bit more of that. Now the workbench is done, so let's head home and set that up. I'm going to set the workbench up down here in the basement where it will be a little bit safer. If any zombies break into the house, well, they will have to break into the downstairs as well before they can do any damage to the to the workbench on accident. And now that it's here and I have the knowledge and all the parts I need for the hunting rifle, I'm going to go ahead and get a hunting rifle crafted. Well, there it is. The hunting rifle is finished. And that is incredibly exciting. Like the blunderbuss, actually, the rifle is a single-shot weapon. But unlike the blunderbuss, you don't have to charge it as though it were a muzzleloader. You just stick a cartridge in it to reload. So it does reload much faster. It also does significantly more damage than the blunderbuss for sure. But a single shot from the rifle also does significantly more damage than a single shot from the tactical assault rifle. And that theme holds for the entirety of the machine gun and rifle categories. The equivalent level rifle is going to use the same ammo, but do more damage per shot. The downside is, of course, that the magazines are smaller and you can't get as many shots before you need to reload. And it is night now, so I'm going to jump back into the base. Another thing that I managed to do was I managed to eke out just enough forged iron to make myself an iron pickaxe. So I'm going to go ahead and craft one of those. I am actually going to go ahead and make the iron pickaxe on the workbench, even though you don't have to. You can craft it in your inventory, unlike the rifle. The benefit of crafting it on the workbench, though, it's going to take 3 minutes to craft, and it would have taken the same amount of time in my inventory. But it's crafting on the workbench with me absent. It's not crafting in my inventory. The workbench will continue to craft whatever you set it to craft while you do other things. So while it's crafting me an iron pickaxe, I'm going to keep digging away at the basement here. My iron pickaxe is finished. So I'm going to take that out of the workbench, put it on my hotbar, and try it out. That is going to make much quicker work of these rocks than the stone axe would have. and it will make much quicker work of that iron trim that's on that elevator up in the barn than the stone axe would have. Another problem that is emerging here is that I now have too many things that I need to keep on my hotbar, like my shovel, my wood frames for building as I dig out the basement, my stone axe, my iron pickaxe, my hunting rifle. I have too many things to keep on my hotbar to keep all of these blunderbusses on my hotbar. So if I start suddenly hearing zombie footsteps and need to step out of the base to deal with them, I would first have to go into my inventory, remove all these things from my hotbar, and put all the blunderbusses back on my hotbar. But as time goes on, I will probably keep the hunting rifle on my hotbar, along with the tactical assault rifle, as the backup weapon that can just pour ammunition through it if I get into trouble, and at most keep one blunderbuss on my hotbar. In fact, I think in tomorrow's episode, probably before the zombie horde even comes, I will be selling at least 2 of these blunderbusses to the trader, because just the fact that I have the hunting rifle now along with the tactical assault rifle means that the blunderbusses are drastically lowered in their usefulness to me. The last thing that I'm going to do before I end this episode is I'm going to add a chest to the wall above the workbench. And in that, I'm going to put some of the late game items that I have been storing in the chest upstairs where I keep random crafting items, because I'm not going to need these in the near future for the most part. The mechanical parts were mainly useful for building the workbench, and I won't need more of them again for a while. The engine, the electrical parts, the headlight, these 3 flashlights that I've been hanging on to for a while, none of those things are going to be immediately useful to me, although they will come in handy later for various crafting recipes. So I don't want to throw them away or sell them to the trader or scrap them, but I also don't want them upstairs in my general crafting supplies chest. Over time, I probably will move everything that's stored up there down here now that I have the basement dug out, because it will be that much safer down here. These chests that I have hanging on the wall, if the block that is behind them is destroyed, usually the chest immediately falls down and all the items in it are lost because the chest breaks and takes its inventory with it. One of the few changes in this update that I've seen so far that I'm not really a fan of is the reduced amount of inventory space in these chests. I forget exactly what the number used to be, but it was significantly more than what there is now. So that has already caused some inventory squeeze problems for me. And that's where I'm going to leave things for this episode. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to my channel to see more content, and if you'd like to help my channel grow, please share it with your friends. If there's anything you'd like to see me do in 7 Days to Die Alpha 19, leave it down in the comments. Tune in tomorrow to watch me fight a zombie horde, and we'll see whether or not I can live through that. If I do, great. If not, at least it will be entertaining. Goodbye and God bless.